Yeah, that is interesting. Very, very interesting. So the basic thing that I would cover over the sessions is today in today's session we'll not write any code, right? We'll just keep it simple. We'll talk about a lot of aspects when it comes to coding, right? And मैं बीच बीच में हिंदी में बोल सकता हूँ. So in case if you don't understand anything, just feel free to put it in the chat. Okay. So uh, ca- what I'll ask first is that when I say coding, right, you have mentioned all these different languages, Java, C++, and everything, right? So can you tell me what is the purpose of coding, right? Why would you want to develop codes and create all these kind of apps and everything, right? Can you tell me one good example of a very good application that you know? Yeah, websites, apps. Can you name some apps that you really like playing on mobile? Can be a gaming app, it can be anything. Okay. Free Fire, Minecraft, WhatsApp, Snapchat. Well, I see PUBG, Instagram. Awesome. Excellent, excellent. Right, right. Arogya Setu, that's a good one. So you've mentioned all these apps, right? And you've mentioned a lot of programming languages uh, that these apps are made of. So you're already aware that there's Android operating system, and there's Apple operating system, and there's a whole lot of other operating systems as well that you can create your apps on, right? um, any PUBG fans? I saw a couple of you wrote PUBG as well. So what do you think? I mean, do you like enjoying playing PUBG a lot, or do you like enjoying watching movies on Netflix? Um, right, both. Okay. So if I give you an option to अगर मैं एक option दूं आप लोगों को कि PUBG choose करो या Netflix choose करो, what which one will you choose? There's none. PUBG, Netflix, Netflix, Netflix. Perfect, perfect. Okay, Netflix has officially outdone PUBG here. So, um, what I wanted to why I'm talking about the programming languages and apps, right? So, I'll tell you one thing about me. I'll make a statement about me, and over the next one hour या अगले 1 घंटे या के session में, you tell me if it stands correct or incorrect. Okay. So I am an IT engineer. तो मैंने 4 साल engineering की पढ़ाई की है, और मैं 4.5 साल से अभी 4.5 years I've been working. But my day to day life is only 1% of coding. ठीक है. Basically in my entire day, when I work throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year, I just code only 1% of my time, which is like literally just 1 hour, 1 hour a day. I just code, and I work for about 12 hours a day. So you might be wondering, right? What do I do for the other 11 hours, right? Don't you think IT is all about coding, or do you think it's about something else? So what do you think कि मैं बाकी के 10 घंटे 11 घंटे क्या करूंगा when I say I'm not coding every throughout the day, right? So what do you think I would be doing as an IT engineer? Which is not at all relevant to coding. Coding से भी आगे या coding से भी अलग काफी सारी चीजें होती है, right? Right? There's planning. Somebody's put in planning. There's study. There's update. Perfect, perfect. Monitorize everything. Yeah, kind of. Research, definitely. Yep. Audit, updates. Perfect, perfect. Render. Yeah, good one. So so you understand, right? I mean, being an IT engineer, for the first year, 2 years or 3 years, तुम करोगे, you'll do a lot of coding. I agree. But then after a point of time, it will not just be about coding, right? There's a lot of other things that comes into picture. So if coming back to the idea of creating an app, right? So let's talk about an application. Let's talk about PUBG, or let's talk about Netflix. ठीक है? So tell me what do you think it takes to run the website called Netflix? तुमको क्या क्या चाहिए एक वेबसाइट चलाने के लिए या फिर एक ऐप चलाने के लिए? Right, you need a server, right? Definitely, you need internet. Think from a perspective that what does Netflix has at its disposal to be able to provide you the system. So I see database, I see code, I see account, Wi-Fi, creative ideas, definitely, copyright, of course. Right. So yeah, you have covered quite a lot of things that I already had in mind, right? So you can build an app, you can write all the codes, you can just run the simulations on your systems. But what is the point of writing an app or creating a system if you're not able to project it to the entire world or to a whole lot of people, right? So so if I want to coming back to basics, right? If you want to create an app, let's say we are talking about an Android application, what all applications you would install on your system, and what all things you would do to create an application that runs just on your laptop, right? Can you just put in all the things that you have? It's kind of similar. You need an IDE, definitely. You need an SDK. Wow, for a ninth standard class, I would say you guys are really up to speed on a lot of these technologies or a lot of terminologies. So yeah, just give a good round of applause for each one of you. Um, yeah, 127.0, that's local host. You need an IDE, you need an API, JDK, Android Studio, emulator, right? So we are going to see all of this, right? But not today. Before we get into all that zone of like writing a code or using Android Studio, using emulators, using databases, right? We'll get there. But yeah, I mean, to create an application, you need Android Studio, you need a IDE. Android Studio is nothing but an IDE, right? So you need an IDE, you need to know basic language, coding language. You need to decide on what language your code is, and is it going to be Java, is it going to be Python, CPP, C Sharp, or and so on, right? Won't you need a database as well on your system? So yeah, you'll need a database, right? So so the way you're structuring it right now, installed an IDE on your laptop, you have installed a database on your laptop, you have written your code, let's say HTML, Python, front end, back end, everything. Now everything is running on your laptop, right? Your laptop or your system or your computer, it has a particular capacity, right? I see there's a question called, I'll just take a question. What is a database? So there a database is something where you store the information, right? When you open Netflix, you have something called your best I mean your playlist, right? You have a playlist on Netflix. So how does Netflix know what that playlist is, right? What is that you are watching recently? So it stores everything in a database, and as soon as you open Netflix, everything is kind of fetched, or kind of it does a get operation from the database and makes it visible on your screen, right? It can be anything. It doesn't have to be just Netflix. It can be any application that we're talking about. So you kind of needed to about something. So let's say if you're making a grocery list, you need to store all the names of the things that you want to buy, all the quantities of each thing that you want to buy, right? So you store all of these things in database. Then you create a front end using an IDE, using a front end application, HTML, Java, Python, whatever code you want to use, right? So now everything that you have bundled together and you have put it on your system, and now you are able to use it. But what about if you want to share that application with somebody, with your friend? How do you open that application for your friends to use it? Yeah, you can put it on GitHub, but how do you share a link, right? Because you're hosting it in your laptop. As soon as you close your laptop, your application stops running, right? Yeah, you can compile it, but if it's not a mobile application, if it's a web application, you cannot compile it, right? You'll have to host it somewhere, or you'll have to create a URL of it. Like you have facebook.com, you have netflix.com, right? So basically where how you would do it. uh, yeah, good options. Copy, but copy, I mean, you cannot let's say if you have to share it with 20,000 of your friends, right? Then you can't like tell 20,000 of your friends to copy it in their system, right? And all the data in the 20,000 systems would be different, then your application is not consistent. Now the way you project, or the way you make your system available for everybody to use, is to host it somewhere, right? Basically what you do is you host it at a data center or a cloud. I don't know, I'm sure some of you, or quite few of you, would have heard about cloud computing, right? So basically you host it at a place, and you secure it in a way that only authorized people who you allow to view your application is able to access the application, right? Think of it as a website. Think of it as facebook.com or netflix.com. Netflix.com is not would not be hosted on a single person's system or a laptop, right? It would have been hosted at a data center. A data center is nothing but a collection of your servers, where you put a lot of storage, lot of RAM, lot of CPU, so that it's always available for X number of any number of users and everything, right? And then you start accessing that website, right? That is one thing. Um Now, talking about hosting, talking about a data center. Do you know what a data center is? The reason why I'm okay, before we go there, the reason I'm talking about all these terminologies is because when we make an application in the next session, we are going to use certain components which will not be limited to your laptop. Basically, you will not install a lot of things on your laptop. You'll just do some Android Studio or one or other things, and everything else will happen somewhere else outside of your laptop. Basically, you will not host it on your server, and everybody will be able to access it. So if Daksh, you host a website, if you create a website, all of us will be able to access it without you having to do much of it, right? So that is why I'm talking about a lot of these different terminologies, right? Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about something called AWS Cloud. AWS is nothing but Amazon Web Services. Before we go there, do you know what is cloud computing? Have you heard of cloud computing? Few of you have not. That's fine. Right. So basically cloud, okay, coming to the concept of cloud, we talked about hosting your applications in your local laptops, right? But we also discussed how it limits the reach of your server to be accessed by anybody else, right? To make that available to everybody, we talked about hosting it in a data center. Now, data center is something called a collection of servers. You mentioned that you need a server to host your application, right? So it can be your data center is like a collection of, let's say, 50,000 servers coming together, and you're running your application on that. Now, the challenge with the data center is that we ourselves have to handle the entire infrastructure. Now, I will have to purchase the RAM, I will have to purchase the CPU, I'll have to purchase everything, and then I will have to also work on my application and share it with everybody, right? Do you think it sounds very easy? Is it very easy to maintain such huge amount of hardware? Imagine managing 10,000 or 50,000 computers in one place, right? Imagine how you run Google Chrome and you open 10 tabs in Google Chrome, your entire server, your entire laptop or computer starts to hang, right? Imagine having 50,000 such computers at one place. Imagine the amount of heat that it would generate, and the amount of money that you will have to spend in keeping that running perfectly, right? Um, so what cloud does is cloud are these certain vendors. Vendors are nothing but your some partners who are going to take the hosting aspect of the of your application and will host it by themselves. And all we have to do is we don't have to worry about purchasing servers. We just tell them that we want 50 CPUs, we want 50 RAMs, we want 10 GB or 100 GB of disk, and they'll just provision it at them and you will access it via internet. How does this idea sound, right? I mean, you don't now, the entire hosting aspect, maintaining aspects is now gone to a different person, and you just access it over your web browser, or a Google Chrome, or over a or a different application, right? You don't have to worry about all these aspects. Am I making sense? Like, are you getting what I'm trying to get to, or is it like too much information? Okay. Okay, great. So that is what cloud is, basically, right? So what cloud does is it takes the 50,000 CPU, it takes your 50,000 laptops or computers. They host it themselves, they manage it themselves, they make sure that it's always running, it's always available for you, and you're just going to use it, right, and pay for what you use. So that's what cloud is. Now, okay, I'm a bit fast. Okay, sorry about that. Just feel free to put in questions at any time, at any time. Okay. um, so basically, that's what cloud is. So why are we talking about cloud is that in the next session, when we create an application using Android Studio, all you're going to do is you're just going to have an Android Studio on your laptop. Everything else is going to be on the cloud. Okay. uh, does it sound exciting? Or I mean, you'll not be installing a database, you'll not be installing any other application, you'll just want Android Studio to write your code, and we'll just host it everything on a cloud, right? uh, so none of the burden will come on your laptop, everything will be taken care by somebody else, right? And we are just going to use it. So yeah, that's what cloud is. That is what I do, basically. I've talked about what I do. So now, Prithviraj, Android Studio is an application where you will write your code to create a mobile application, right? And that basically, that coding aspect is something that you will do it on your laptop, but everything else will happen on your cloud, right? iOS users, they have a different studio. Android Studio is only for Android, right? For downloading, yeah, we'll share all the links that you that is needed to download. Don't worry about that. And no, we do not download cloud. That's the best thing about cloud, is that cloud stays online. We don't download everything. That's what I said, right? Nothing comes on your laptop. Everything stays somewhere else, and you just access it over the internet. um, and I see somebody has made some apps in Android Studio. That's good. And Microsoft is a question. So yes, Microsoft also has a cloud of doing it. So basically, okay, yeah, you can do coding from scratch. You can do everything that you can do on your laptop. Everything you can do on cloud as well, right? Uh, okay. Yes, OneDrive is kind of a cloud, where exactly, yes. OneDrive is an example of a cloud application, right? Where you just upload your files and data somewhere, you just store it somewhere, and you can then access it from anywhere, right? You don't have to be limited to your laptop or your computer to be able to fetch those files, right? So yeah, that's a very good application of cloud computing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing my screen and just show you something, one presentation about I'm just going to talk something about Amazon Web Cloud, Amazon Web Services. Basically, I am trying to keep the chat open as well, just in so that I'm able to see your questions. um, yes, for iOS also, will send you the link, don't worry about it. Tushar, Google Drive, yes, Google Drive is another example of a cloud-based application, right? So imagine taking everything that you have on your laptop and putting it somewhere else, and having the power to fetch it, access it from anywhere, right? मैं मेरा लैपटॉप बंद भी कर दूं तो भी वो मेरा एप्लीकेशन चलता रहेगा, right? Because it's not dependent on your server. Now, talking about coming back to cloud, iCloud is another cloud. Yes, definitely. Talking about a cloud that I currently work on, right? I'm just going to take you deep into the world of cloud first, and then we'll talk about applications and everything, right? uh, why I'm talking about cloud so much here is because as an IT engineer or a computer science engineer, you are not going to be limited to just writing a piece of code, right? It's so much beyond that. And now you understand the question, the statement that I made, right? That only 1% of my time is gone into coding, and you had put in a lot of other factors on what else I would do in the remaining hours of my day, right? So understanding a bit about just an overview about cloud is something very important, right? So what is AWS cloud? So AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. You know Amazon, right? You purchase a lot of things from them. It's the same people hosting, providing this service, cloud service, right? um, so what is cloud? So we talked about on premises and we talked about internet, right? On premises is nothing but, imagine on premises as your own as your own computer or as your own laptop. So you have you need to have some storage, you need to have some databases running to save your queries, or to save your the list of favorite movies that you watch on Netflix, right? And you will also have to create your application, yeah, web services, of course, if you're hosting a website. And of course the servers, right? Servers is the basics of everything when it comes to cloud, or not even cloud, or even on premises, right? So basically you take care of all these things yourself. You manage all the servers, you manage all the storage, you manage all the databases, applications, everything you have to manage. You also have to manage the code. कोड भी तुम्हें ही लिखना है, सर्वर भी तुम्हें संभालना है, उसका उसको गर्म भी नहीं होने देना है, उसको ठंडा भी रखना है, सब कुछ तुम्हें करना है, ठीक है? ऑन प्रेमिसेस में ये है। लेकिन क्लाउड में क्या होता है, तुमको कुछ नहीं करना है, सब कुछ अमेजोन करेगा, तुमको सिर्फ तुम्हारा एप्लीकेशन के कोड पे ध्यान देना है, दैट इज इट। नॉट दैट, मतलब सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं, बट प्राइमरीली यही है कि तुम्हें सिर्फ तुम्हारे एप्लीकेशन, तुम्हारा कोड अच्छा होना चाहिए, तुम्हारा एप्लीकेशन बराबर चलना चाहिए। अगर तुम एक लॉग इन एप्लीकेशन बना रहे हो तो उसमें कुछ एरर नहीं आना चाहिए, राइट? सो लेफ्ट साइड में तुम देख रहे हो इतनी सारी चीजें तुमको संभालनी है, और राइट साइड में तुम्हें सिर्फ तुम्हारे एप्लीकेशन के बारे में सोचना है। सो एक्साइटिंग, राइट? आई मीन इट takes a lot of load from your head and let somebody else worry about it, but of course you pay money to them, right? uh, you definitely have to pay money for using these services. um, just go to the next slide. So basically you have multiple types of deployments that you can do. Deployments are nothing but your application, making your application available to everybody. Now your application can be a mobile application, it can be a web server like Netflix, mobile application like PUBG or Free Fire or anything, right? So you can either host it completely on premises. On premises means you can purchase all those. You, if you still want to do all of it, you can purchase everything yourself, and you can deploy everything, create your application on everything on it, right? Or on the right hand side, you can do everything on cloud, right? And there's, in the center there's hybrid. Hybrid means you can keep something on the on your laptops, on your computers, while you can put something on the cloud. It's like a mixed shared model, right? Does that make sense? Okay, I'll ask a question. Which of these three models do you think is the most easiest way to like create an application? Cloud. Okay, definitely, right. Agreed. Cloud is the easiest. There is no second thought to it. So if you think cloud is the easiest, why would you think? Yeah, I see there's hybrid, right? People are putting hybrid as well. Why do you think, if cloud was so easy to do, if cloud was so easy and simple, why would you think that on premises or a hybrid would continue to exist? Okay, I'll tell you what hybrid is, right? So hybrid is kind of a mix of both on premises and cloud. You put, let's say if you're developing a Netflix type website, right? You can create your front end application, your web server on cloud, and you can create your database on premises. So it's like a mixture of both, right? So it's that's what hybrid is. So I hope it's clear now. But yeah, feel free to ask questions if you still have doubts. So I see a few of you have said hybrid is also easier. Why do you think on premises is not easy? Or why do you think you think? Okay, I've told you why on-premises is not easy, but there's a lot of companies today in the world that are still on-premises, that are still doing everything they want to do. So why would you think people or companies would choose on-premises? Example, hybrid is fast and can be easily developed. Okay, it's a lot mess in the old method, but some companies are still preferring on-premises, right? So yeah, security. That's an excellent point. Yeah, thumbs up to all of you are talking about security, right? Um, as much as you talk about having everything easy on cloud, the cloud security is still the biggest thing that is that is out of control actually, right? um, Having everything on cloud, of course, easy, but yes, security is the big deal. How would you feel if your Aadhaar card number or your bank account number is just out in the open, right? You wouldn't feel you wouldn't feel good about it, right? So yeah, in certain cases, on premises is better than cloud, but that doesn't mean that cloud is not secure. Cloud is of course secure, but it's something that we have to take care of the security. Right. So we have talked a lot about the different models. Now we'll talk about AWS clouds. You have already talked about it. Expensive. It's not at all expensive. Cloud is, like I said, right. You just pay for the number of hours that you're using the cloud service. Whereas on premises, you're purchasing everything and you have to keep it on, even if you're using it or not. Right. Let's say if you have 100 GBs of storage, but you're not using 10 GB, you're just using 10 GB out of it on premises, you're still paying for the 100 GB because you have purchased that 100 GB. But on cloud, you just pay for the 10 GB storage that you want to use, right? So that is a very big benefit why companies are moving on to cloud, why a lot of things are now cloud native or cloud driven, right? um, Savings, of course. Imagine if you have to stand up an application for 1 lakh users, and you have to and you are a non-profit organization. Let's say you don't make a lot of money, but you want to do it in a very cheap way, with all the securities, all the things in place. Of course, cloud is the way to go about it, right? You stop guessing capacity. You don't have to worry about the guess, because on cloud everything scales on demand. I'll explain what scaling on demand means, but I would want to understand from either of you, from one of you. Do you know what scaling on demand means? No. Okay. Okay. See, imagine. Let's come back to the storage question, right? Let's say you have 100 GB of hard drive on your server, right? Now your application that you have developed is using 90 GB of storage, and you don't know how much you want to add the storage more to your system, because you don't know how many people are going to use your application, right? So you are either underestimating the hard drive storage, or you are overestimating your hard drive storage. Now if you underestimate, that means if you don't have enough storage for application, you are going to your application is not going to work properly, because your application is not going to work properly because you will need more storage. So you will have to purchase a new hard drive, and you'll have to then sorry, you'll have to purchase a new hard drive, you'll have to add it and everything, right? Overestimating is, let's say you need only 90 GB, but you now have 200 GB, and you have 100 GB just sitting idle and just paying. So what happens on cloud is it scales as per your demand. So if you want, you have settings on cloud that you can enable, and it will automatically scale it up based on the demand, based on the usage that you are doing. So if you have a 100 GB hard disk, and if you have put 80, if you have I mean, if your hard disk is 80 GB full, then it will automatically scale up to 150 GB. So you have that options as well, right? So that is what scaling on demand means. You don't have to estimate anything, you just have to let AWS handle it, right? Yes, so we will have to enable that. We will have to enable that setting to ensure that your storage is always scaled, or any service is always scaled. Um, Now increasing speed and agility, right? So Scaling on demand. Okay, so that's I'll come again. So Manan, scaling on demand, what it means is or your storage or your CPU or your RAM, it grows automatically based on the demand that it has. So if your current storage is 100 GB and you have used 80 GB of it, the cloud will automatically scale it up to 150 GB, right? Um, so that's what scaling on demand in short means, right? How does cloud companies earn money? That's a very good question. I'll come to that question. uh, yeah, so I'll come to that question, Daksh. Just remind me if I forget. Cloud companies make a lot of money. Everything seems very cheap, but it's still very profitable for them, right? um, so talking about increased speed and agility, so how much time do you think it takes for you to set up your own data center, right? Let's say if you want to bring in 10,000 GB of storage and let's say 500 GB of RAM and some lot of CPUs, right? How much time do you think it'll take for you to set everything up on your in your house? We're talking months, 4 days? That's very fast. 5 months, 2 months. So a lot of us are talking months, right? Right. So that's one other thing. So if you want to create an application, you'll need a lot of time before you can even set up the entire thing. Even if you can do it faster, right? You can even if you want to purchase you're purchasing, you'll have to go to a place where you have to buy all that. You'll have to bring it to your place. You'll have to set it up. It'll at least take 1 day for you to set that up, right? Minimum. You cannot do it in 1 hour, or you cannot do it in 2 hours, right? That's another benefit that you get in cloud. With the clicks of your mouse, you can just provision. You can just get everything within 5 minutes. How does that sound? Do you think it's possible? Like I can create a lot of things. I can get a lot of servers within 5 minutes on cloud with just the click of my mouse, like 5 to 10 clicks of my mouse, right? So that's another benefit of having cloud, right? You have you get what you want in minutes. You don't have to wait a lot of time to get what you want before you can even think you have it ready already, right? So again, few of us talked about maintenance, right? If we have our own data center, you will have to spend a lot of time maintaining it. You'll have to ensure that the place where you are storing all your servers is always air conditioned, right? I said, right, if you're running on your own computer, if you open Google Chrome and if you open 10 tabs within Google Chrome, your entire computer and laptop will start getting heated, right? So imagine having 10 so many laptops or computers in a room, and imagine how much heat it would generate. And what happens if your system overheats? Yeah, you need employees to manage. What happens if your server overheats? Yeah, explosion, crashes, burns, uh, and moreover you will lose your entire application also, right? Let's say if you're running some application on it on which you have spent a lot of time building it, you have spent a lot of money building it, and if your entire things are just gone, everything is you lose everything. You'll have to write everything. Your data is lost. Exactly. So with cloud, you get another basically benefit, that you don't have to worry about maintenance of your data centers. Everything is done by Amazon. You just have to focus on your application. That's it. And you can go global in minutes. What does going global in minutes mean is that let's say you are sitting here in India, in Mumbai, or anywhere in Mumbai, right? And if you want to share your application with somebody else in all the way in Europe or in USA, right? Is it not, it's not going to be easy, or it's not going to be fast for people sitting in US, or people sitting in Europe to use your application deployed in India, right? It's going to be very slow. But with cloud, it's all very fast. It's all it's all gone within minutes. It's very fast, very widely available across the world, and all. Does cloud company use supercomputers? No, they don't use supercomputers. They just use a collection of really good computers, and they ensure that they are well maintained and well properly managed, right? So they don't use supercomputers, right? So you can go global in minutes. Of course, security is we talked about security, right? You told me that why do companies still prefer on premises? Why do companies still prefer keeping data with themselves? Why don't they go on cloud? Security was one of the questions, one of the concerns that you called out, right? So security, it doesn't mean that cloud is not at all secure. Cloud is very secure, but you have to build the security aspects yourself. Now you will have to, if you are hosting a website, you have to make sure that you have a proper sign in pages. You don't if it's data that you want to protect, you don't just keep it open, widely open, right? Yeah, you can, there can be a lot of hacking in cloud, definitely they can be, but there's a lot of ways where you can prepare yourselves from getting hacked, and security is a very, very big aspect of it, right? um, so on your screen you see a lot of service catalogs. Basically these are all the different aspects on which AWS invests in. Just take a look on them, and if you have any question, just ask me, right? What the slide tells is that AWS has capabilities of blockchain. I'm sure you know blockchain by now. You know Bitcoin, you know Dogecoin, all the different type of cryptocurrencies, right? um, they are into robotics, they are into game tech, yes. They are into mobile applications. Okay, that's fine. This is just one domain. You don't have to worry too much about blockchain, but it's kind of, it's just one of the technologies that that you can use AWS for, right? So we are where can you tell me where does servers fit in here? In which of these tab would your servers fit in? We talked about having servers to host your website, right? So not just game tech, right? Databases, yes, definitely. GDA5. Compute, yeah, that's a brilliant answer, Adi. You are bang on. Yeah, that's the right answer. So compute is where your servers fit in, right? Compute means your CPU and your RAM, basically, right? Do we have to take subscription of cloud service? Yes. Sorry, Kavya, I'll try to be a bit slow. Um, right. So any questions do you have on the tiles that you see on your screen? Daksh, it costs on how much you use it, right? um, if you go clicking everything, you'll be built on whatever you leverage, right? So it's based on how much you use. Which is the best language for artificial intelligence? It's definitely Python. Python is the base language for AI. There's also R, which is a language that you use for machine learning, for artificial intelligence, right? um, then I see, what is the use of IoT? So basically, IoT is nothing but Internet of Things. So you can get air tags. I mean, you can get small devices that can keep track of everything in your house. You can just stick that tag anywhere, and it will have an application on your phone, and you can just track everything wherever you stick that tag to, right? So the data that those tags are sending every minute is the use of this thing, uh, IoT. Okay. Meet database is something that you use to store your data. Like I took an example of Netflix, right? You create your wish list. When you sign into Netflix, you create your wish list of the movies or the shows that you want to see, and the Netflix has to remember that list somewhere, right? So that is what you use databases for. Nisarg Robotics is basically everything everything about robots, right? You can have robotics, AWS use for robotics as well. Satellites, yes. Amazon has its own satellites, and you can use satellite services to do a lot of stuffs. Huh? Okay, I'll just pause on the questions and move to the next slide. End user computing, it's very very it's similar to supercomputer. Somebody was talking about supercomputers, right? End user computing is where your supercomputers come in, right? um, okay, global infrastructure. So like I said, AWS is global. Global as in, we talked about you can make sure you can make your websites available everywhere in the world, right? So they are everywhere in the world, not just in India. They are in Europe. They have their data centers everywhere, and everything is connected via internet. You don't have to think about like going into a region or something. So you see these locations. Uh, Meet blockchain is the technology on which your cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are made. But that's a very very something which is way into the future. I mean, way too technical. You don't have to worry too much about it. But just remember, it's like a technology that is used to create a cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin is a example of cryptocurrency, right? So you see there's in this is the global map of where at all places where you have the Amazon data centers. Essentially what it means is that you can have your application deployed in India, and it will be very available with a click of a button anywhere across the globe, right? So it's across the globe. uh, so we there's a lot of ways how we can access AWS. You have the console, which is like I talked about, accessing it through browser. You have command line interfaces. Basically, you can access it using some commands on your command prompt. There's SDKs. Do you know what SDKs is? If you're aware of SDKs, CMD is command line. Yes. Can you write what SDK is? Software development kit. Yes. Right. So basically, what SDK is, that when you create an app, right? If your app needs to use something from Amazon, let's say if it wants to use the Amazon databases, that is where you bring in SDKs. From where application can be built like emulator. Yes, Anand, that's correct. Yep. It helps you to design your application, right? That is all correct. So this is how your AWS console looks like on the screenshot. I'll actually show it to you as well in a few minutes from now. And you have CLI. It can AWS has its own CLI, which you can install on your Linux and on your Mac or on your Windows. So it's supported on all the different operating systems. How do people mod different games? They may be on cloud, they may be outside of cloud, but different mod, as in, yeah, you can create different mods and you can host it somewhere for people to download it out of anywhere, right? CLI is command line interface. Basically, you can either do things on Amazon from your web browser, or you can do things on Amazon from your black box, black command prompt on your laptops, right? So that is what CLI is for. And these are all the SDKs that you can integrate. You can use AWS for. You have JavaScript, Python, .NET, Ruby, Go, Node, C++, Java. How many of you have what all languages out of these have you created your apps in the past? VB, .NET, Java. I see Python and Java. Good. So in the next session, we are going to do a bit of Python. We are going to do a bit of database and HTML and JavaScript to create a web application, and we'll host it on AWS. And everybody will create a small easy go website, and we'll just access everybody else's websites, right? um, so that's going to come uh, in the next session. But yeah, this is what AWS is. I hope you got a bit of an overview onto the life outside of coding, right? Uh, I'll also show any questions. Do you have any other questions? Awesome. So yeah, now do you believe me that do you require skills of Flutter to make a web app? No, definitely not. You just need to know a bit of HTML. We'll do everything together. Don't worry about it. You'll all be able to make a website within very easily without having to know a lot of other things, right? How do cloud companies earn money? That's a, yeah. So the cloud companies earn money by the way you use their services, right? So um, of course it's a lot of money that they spend on their end to ensure that everything is always available, but it's very easy it's very easy for you to just click few buttons and you can get thousands of bills as well. So using cloud is has to be I mean, you have to use it very carefully. You have to ensure that you're not clicking or requesting for things which costs a lot of money. There are services which are very cheap, and there are services which are very costly, right? We talked about blockchain is a very costly service. If you run the blockchain technology for 1 hour on a very big server, you can just get a $10,000 bill as well, right? um, so yeah, they earn money on the amount of API calls or the APIs or their services that you use, right? um, yeah, Kavya, we'll see it in the next session. You'll be amazed how easy it is to do things on cloud, and how fast you can do it on cloud. uh, API is nothing but the way to you to access your Amazon services, right? If you want to access a database, your database will have a link which you can use. So that link is nothing but an API, right? Um so yeah, I mean, I told you I'll show you the console of cloud. How does it look like? I know we are not doing any hands-on today, but just want to give you a feel of how these things, how does AWS look. So this is your basic console of AWS. All of you, I mean, you will have access to this. We'll be creating credentials, and next session we'll let you know. So we will create credentials for you. We will give you logins here, very restricted logins. I'll make sure that none of you are clicking things which should not be clicked, right? uh, so basically there's a lot of things here. So if I click on services, you can see all the different services that AWS offers, and it's crazy on the expanse of what you can of the things that you can do on cloud. There's a lot of things that you can do on cloud. The one thing that catches my attention straight away is game development. You can do game development on Amazon. You can do every lot of other things like blockchain and everything. The screen share that I showed you, right? This is all this is I mean, the overview of that. So there's a lot of things. Will be making use of few services of AWS to create a website, a small website. And like I said, that's coming in the next session. And yeah, that's this is the basic console. I don't want to take you into individual services because it's a lot technical, and it takes a lot of time to understand, because there's a lot of things that you can do. But yeah, that's what it is. Which language does it use? Well, Krishiv, it can be anything, right? So if you're doing a front end development, if you're creating a website, you can use HTML, you can use JavaScript, you can use Node.js. If you're doing a back end development, you can use Python, you can use Java. It supports everything that you can think of, right? Um, what are the uses of AMP in a website SEO? Okay, that's a very technical question. I think I'm not equipped to answer that. Can it render animations? Yeah, it can. uh, API is Meet API is something that if you want to use Amazon services not from a browser but from a command line, from your command prompt, use something called API. So it's application programming interface. It's nothing but the links that you use to access something. Uh, Okay, I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. Vidhi, are you on?
Yes, yes, we're right here. Thank you so much, Rohit, for conducting this very informative session. I'm sure every student loved this. For the next session, we'll be updating you. It will be next week. And then I think you'll guys get to do some actual coding, whatever you've
Yep.
learned today, apply that for a bit. And one last thing that I want to announce before we end the session for today. So we have 3 winners from the last Excel assignment, and I'll just put these names up on the chat box as well. So it's Chitrangi Agarwal, Danish Sokhade, and Aryan Sahu. So congratulations, guys. Keep doing the assignments that you are assigned. And yeah, so we'll meet tomorrow for the accounting workshop, and it will be taken by Anmol. So I hope you guys attend that as well. Thank you, Rohit, for today's session.
Thank you. And yeah, in the next session, we are not going to talk. We are going to do a lot of things. We'll create a small website. We'll access in each other's websites as well, whatever we create, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun. So everything that you saw today, some of it we are going to do it in the next session. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining in. You guys can leave. Thank you.